The Epstein files, Republican Senate races, a measles epidemic, and a MAGA meltdown. But first, I'd like to ask you to subscribe. I appreciate all your support, and the way you can show that is by subscribing below. The Epstein files. Well, they turned out to be exactly what I expected. Heavily redacted, incomplete, and totally impossible to use. So they did what was expected. Now, why did I expect this? Well, a lifetime ago, I worked in the Kentucky State Auditor's Office, and the one thing I learned about audits, nobody likes auditors. Nobody wants to be held accountable for what they did. And so when an auditor shows up, the standard response is to flood them with bullshit. And that's exactly what the administration's trying to do right now. If you notice, a lot of the stuff they released was dealing with Bill Clinton. So this was to be expected. This will be an ongoing war, and we need not to let them get away with this. In the Senate races, in 2 Republican primaries, well, Senate races, there's been big changes. In New York, Elise Stefanik has dropped out. No, she's not going to be in Congress. She's not going to run for governor. She's going home, which is probably a good place for her to go. Elise hitched her wagon to Donald Trump. And as Trump's wheels starts coming off that wagon, well, she's decided to call it quits. Her whole effort to make the race about socialists, communists, progressives like Mondami seem to be failing. And so she's going home. Goodbye, Elise. You're not going to be missed. But more important and more interesting, actually, is the current senator from Wyoming has decided not to run for re-election. The job is just too hard, too demanding, too much. Again, I think it's probably because the wheels are coming off MAGA. But I think you're going to see a familiar name. Darth Vader's child, Liz Cheney, is going to come back. And she's going to run in Wyoming, and she's going to win big time. And that's what's going to happen. Now, I don't agree with Liz Cheney on much of anything, but I do think she is an honorable person. And I do think that she believes in this country and the laws of this country. Now, I hope she gets elected, and I hope nothing she ever wants to pass gets passed. So, go for it, Liz. I would say let the Democrat get elected, but it is Wyoming, and we know what it is. The one thing RFK is not telling you is that we have a measles epidemic. We have the worst measles epidemic in 30 years. And while little Bobby Jr. is running around spouting, don't eat Big Macs or whatever, he's ignoring this. Because God knows measles can be dealt with vaccinations. 30 years, people. 30 years. That's obscene. In this country, this Luddite attraction to being against science and taking care of people is just insane. So, they want you sick, they want you poor, and they want you helpless. And Bobby Kennedy Jr. is doing his best to get you there. Oh, by the way, Bobby Kennedy Jr., showing what a gutless wimp he is, has made no comment about the renaming of the Kennedy Center. His sister wants to take a sledgehammer to the sign. Good for her. But Bobby, silent. God, what a wimpy little bitch. Anyway, the Turning Point USA MAGA Fest has had a little bumps in the road, a few bumps in the road. Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson have got into a measuring contest. Both of them somewhat less than adequate. So MAGA's coming apart at the seams, and this is a good place to show it. The other interesting thing out of this conference was that Erica Kirk endorsed J.D. Vance to be president. Now, we all have seen the pictures of Erica's loving embrace of J.D. My God, I don't know. No, I'm not going to go there. Let's just say this. I'm not surprised. And Erica sees a bright future for JD and maybe a bright future for Erica.